Picture this. The flagship of showies are all gathered and paid a visit, to make an unforgettable stop in your town. Amongst them were the battered and the skew. Today, we'll be performing our acts solely, just for you. Picture number 1. I used another kid as a human shield in a bouncy house. When I was a kid, like about 8 I think, I went to a party of a friend's my mom knew. So we were in the bouncy house and there were kids doing cartwheels. There was one coming near me and I could have gotten out of the way, but instead I grabbed another kid and put him in front of me. As a joke, of course, but I didn't actually think that he would get hit. So he basically got smacked in the face with a foot and then he came out crying. I simply walked away and never saw that kid again. Here's picture number 2. I've been stealing water bottles from Planet Fitness for months. Just as the title says. Before you all judge me for my abhorrent crime, please hear me out first. When I first started my fitness journey, I went on a guest pass with a friend. Back then, I knew the water bottles were $1, and I followed the rules. Eventually, I bought my own membership. The first day I went in as a full-fledged Planet Fitness member, I went to the counter with water bottle in hand as usual. The cashier tells me, "Oh, you don't have to pay. The first bottle is free for members." Now, I interpreted this as the first water bottle of the session was free. Many weightlifters like to bring their own gallon-sized water bottles, so in my humble opinion, I did not think it odd that gym-goers would down several water bottles in one workout session. So began my unintentional career as a water bottle thief. Every day I went to my local Planet Fitness, I would walk right to the fridge and pull one out for myself. I swear, there were employees that would watch me do this and say not a word. Perhaps they were too intimidated by my bold gesture to say anything. This went on for months. That is, until today. Displayed on the fridge was a sign clearly stating protein shakes and water must be brought to the counter and bought before being consumed. Apparently my waternapping habits have been so frequent and cutting into Planet Fitness profits so much that a blank sign had to be made for my benefit. They could not say this to my face, so they went the passive-aggressive route. So not only am I guilty of killing the planet by not using a reusable water bottle, but I also guilty of the highest crime an American can commit: stealing a low-value item from a multi-million-dollar company. I can only hope that if there is a God, that they are forgiving of my sins and that I am not entirely irredeemable in the eyes of my fellow man. Presenting picture number 3. Some random kid got punished for me rolling a ball down the slide. When I was in kindergarten, I took one of those red rubber balls to the top of the slide and rolled it down. Some random kid happened to have it run into the back of him, and as soon as he got to the bottom of the slide, the playground attendant yanked him up and made him sit out for the rest of recess. I watched the whole thing happen and just ran away. Sorry, kid. Featured next is picture number 4. Stole a Hawthorn Star Wild card from a kid when I was 10 in primary school. It was around 2014-2015 and I remember all the kids in school trading footy cards. The usual footy card black market went something like this. The preps got straight scammed by the year 4 to 5s. And kids would rob each other of cards. My story was one of those. I remember I was good friends with a kid all throughout kindergarten and eventually we moved to school together. Our family went to dinner one night at a pub near Doncaster shopping town and it was all going good until I saw he dropped a card under the table when we were eating. I looked down acting like I dropped a fork and saw it was some sort of Hawthorn Magic Wild or Star Wild card. I remember making my sole goal to retrieve that card from under the table without anyone suspecting a thing. I simply dropped the fork for real this time and grabbed it like a thief. After we were done eating, I noticed he was frustrated that he had lost his card. I contemplated whether I should give it back or keep it. I felt too guilty to give it back, so I kept it, and now it has been sitting in my garage at home for years. The reason they were never touched again after that was because of the Great Footy Card Depression. I still can't forgive myself for those actions that night. Next up, picture number 5. I stole the candy in first grade and blamed someone else. In first grade, there was a candy box in our classroom for when we did really well on assignments and such. Around Christmas vacation, I had to go in with my mom to do like a mid-year talk or whatever. I knew I just had to go in with her. While I thought the teacher wasn't looking, I stole some of the candy. After Christmas vacation, she held a meeting within the class and told about the situation. She wanted someone to fess up in front of the class, saying she caught them red-handed. Now being a 6-year-old, I thought, red-handed, meant having red sticky candy on your hand. So I thought, couldn't have been me. I went on with the class pointing at others and crying out names. I even stood up and blamed the chunky girl. I'm sorry, Ms. Miller. At the mic is picture number 6. When I was a child, I used scissors to cut the silkworms of the class. I was a little girl and I always had the habit of cutting worms or snails with scissors. When no one was watching, I used to grab the worms from the box, cut them up and throw them away. I do not tell this to anyone because it is stupid. No one found out and we ran out of class pets before the other classes. Nobody knew why edit, because they seem silly in the comments. Now I grew up. I would not harm an animal or a person and I know what is right and what is wrong. Don't be exaggerated. I even volunteer in my spare time. Calm down. I have adopted many pets that I have never hurt. I think they are too exaggerated. I just made a confession of a stupid thing that I did as a little girl. Literally 9 years or more passed from this event and I was 6 or 7 years old by the way. All my life I have been to therapy and I am not psychopath or anything like that. So stop telling me to take therapy if I already take for other reasons. Presenting picture number 7. I painted over a custom jean jacket my friend made me for my birthday. Okay, so do you ever have a friend who isn't all too good at art? You don't want to be mean, so of course you tell them everything they make is beautiful. Well, this year for my birthday, said art friend decided to hand paint one of my favorite anime characters on the back of a jean jacket. Before gifting it to me, she told me that she was scared I would say I love it, wear it once, then throw it into my closet never to be seen again. I promised her no matter what it looked like I would probably wear it all the time. Well, let's say, I lied. I really couldn't stand the look of it at all. Of course, I told her I loved it and that it looked amazing. But on the inside, I was thinking there was no way in blank I would be caught wearing it. It was really bad. Now I'm not saying that I'm a master artist by any means, but I do know that I would be comfortable wearing something I drew. And her and I just happened to have the exact same kinds of fabric paints. After a month of thinking about it, I finally snapped and completely whited out the face to start anew. I figured she hadn't taken any pictures of it since she is very self-conscious of her art and almost always destroys anything she isn't 100% confident in. After her spiel about me not wearing her creation, I knew that she definitely didn't have any photo evidence of the before image. So I figured, she'll never know. Except now I'm panicking. Sure, my redesigned version is definitely something I would wear in public, but it's a little too good. There's no way she's going to believe that's what it looked like when she gave it to me. On top of that, I have a very distinct drawing style that I tried to tone down, but you can definitely tell I was the one who drew the piece. Now I'm scared to wear the jacket at all in fear she will know I changed it and be sad that I didn't appreciate the gift she spent hours on. But on the other hand, if I don't wear it she'll still think I don't like it. Now I'm stuck with a new jacket, but the guilt is killing me. Behold. Picture number 8. I went back to my past high school and lit their trash can on fire and spray painted their walls. I bike rode there, lit their trash can on fire and spray painted their walls and still hadn't gotten caught. I did it mostly out of anger. I tend to be complacent when I am angry and bad things happen in my family. What is worse is that I am an adult and graduate high school years ago, so that makes me a total immature loser. Have a look at picture number 9. Sometimes I steal cleaning and hygiene supplies from work. I work in a daycare and so we have to be pretty hardcore on cleaning and sanitizing. We keep the supplies in the downstairs bathroom. It's basically a small storage room but with a toilet and a sink, which is located in the laundry room. It's our job, the educators, to refill our things by ourselves. For example, it's us who have to go grab a box of nitrile gloves if we're out of that, or hand soap for the dispenser, boxes of tissues, etc. We are also encouraged to keep a couple backups in our rooms, like keeping 2 to 3 extra boxes of gloves or tissues under the changing table so if you run out while changing a diaper, you can just take a new one there and not have to leave the room to go to the storage room. We also have to refill our bottles of sanitizer by ourselves. We use a specific one that is extremely strong and effective. To make it, you have to mix like 1 or 2 spoons of the pure product and then dilute it in about 6 liters of water. So, the employee who's responsible for disinfection, cleaning makes a new batch when it runs out. We keep it in a big jug that's located in the bathroom storage room. Anyway, since we refill all of our things by ourselves whenever we feel like we should, and are even encouraged to stash stuff in our rooms, we don't keep an inventory. We don't count or keep track of the products. They just order stuff to refill the storage room when it seems to run out, I guess. Anyway, the other day I was using the bathroom and I kinda realized that I could literally just take a tissue box, put it in my backpack, that I brought with me to the bathroom because I needed feminine hygiene products that were in there, and bring it back home. And no one would notice. Like I said, we don't keep an inventory on these things, and if they even suspected a thief, there are no cameras in the storage room for privacy reasons since it doubles as the bathroom, so no one could see. And if they did count the products, then it would be so easy to just say something like, "Yeah, I used a lot of sanitizer today. I decided to disinfect a bunch of toys while the kids were sleeping," which would be very plausible these days due to the pandemic situation, and of course, when someone is using the bathroom, the door is fully closed and locked. And when I come out, it would just be hidden in my backpack. So I don't know how I could possibly get caught. So, yeah. One time I did that with a box of gloves. And I did it 2 to 3 times with the sanitizer. I brought an empty bottle in my backpack and filled it when I went to the bathroom, at the end of my shift. Now here's the thing. I don't think I'm a bad person in general. I do value kindness, empathy, respect, and this is the only way I have ever stolen anything ever. I would never steal at a retail store. I would never willingly do anything that would put another person in trouble or in disadvantage. So then, why do I allow myself to do that? I know stealing is against my values. I know it's not right. But I'm not sure how to explain it. I feel like, in this particular situation, I don't care. I just don't feel bad about it. But I feel like I should. I guess it's because I don't see who it is really hurting. Well, the daycare, obviously, but to a very small extent. And yes, I'm aware that it's a dumb mentality because maybe a box of gloves lost every 5 to 6 months isn't gonna make a huge difference. But if everyone started thinking that way, then yes it would. Anyways, long story short, I feel bad about not feeling bad. If that makes sense. I would like to know what you guys think. Am I actually in blank? Am I just dumb? Is there something I'm not seeing? Is there someone I'm actually hurting a lot more than I think by doing this? Would you have done the same thing? I don't know. I just feel like other people's reactions to this might help me realize what I'm doing.